Right now, I live at home with my mother until September 1st. She lives in Lawrence Township, and I must say she's a two-bedroom, and it is about 1,500 a month, which is extremely high, and it goes up every year. And it's me, my mother, my father, my son, my boyfriend, and soon to be this one. And basically, there's no room. The bedrooms are small, and it's only two bedrooms. And with having another child, you're going to be considered as a second family. And because she can't afford the rent being that high, she's moving into something smaller, which therefore, if she could, she would keep me. And she told me, she doesn't want to put me out. That's every mother's fear. They don't want to do that to their child, especially being 8.5, 9 months pregnant. And but she has no other choice, so that's why she's moving into something smaller, and hopefully they can afford it. But it's not just us being like us young teenagers that are having kids that can't afford it. It's also them that can't afford it either. My dad works two jobs, and my mother, she works one job Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4, or 8 to 4, yeah, 8 to 4:30, and she basically, it's very hard. They can't even make their rent, or their, like, half the time their public service. Their public service is $500 a month, and it's just ridiculous. So it's pretty sad, but unfortunately. So right now, thank God for Homefront, because they just gave me assistance for housing. And I do work a full-time job, but when you have to take care of a child and a family and also help pay with the bills, you really can't make all of, your rent. Trenton's not the best area. And some parts of Hamilton aren't either. But being that, you can't really afford Hamilton, and you have no other place but to go to Trenton. And with most assistance, if you can't find a decent apartment in the nicer part of Trenton on the outskirts of Hamilton, you're going to be in the worst area possible. But where I would like to go is like Hamilton, or a township that is actually decent, where you're not afraid to have your kids outside, so that way they don't get shot, or so that way they can try not to be upset at work. But you can't work to your best performance because you're worried about your child being outside, or you're worried about your child walking home from school getting shot or getting beat up, or and basically because I've grown up with a mother and a father who have always worked. I have lived in areas where I've seen people who live off of welfare. My cousins, they're young and they have kids and they live off of welfare. But me, it's like, for some reason, I don't want my child just getting by. I want my child to have more than what they need, and I want to make sure that I have all my bills paid off. I don't want to have to worry. I mean, sometimes there's going to be times where it's going to be hard and you're going to worry. But my mother, when I was a kid, and my brother was a kid, and my father, we never saw that worry. Like, they always hit it. They hit it well, but, and she did get assistance from time to time, but she never milked the system. She would always work. As an adult, you have to work, especially if you're going to have children. Work, and people who feel that they do a lot, but we have problems too. And we have a lot of bills that we have to pay too. It's like, we don't get the help unless, we're on welfare and we have like 10 kids and we can't get a job, and, we're the ones trying to help ourselves. And it makes us feel like, why even bother when there's nothing there to help us? So basically, it just, it kind of frustrates us, and it makes you just want to quit your job so that way you can just live off of the state. But, like, I don't want to do that. I'm not one to live off of welfare. I had my son, and I was on cash assistance, I think, for 2 or 3 months, and I stopped it, and I got my job right away. I mean, there are people out there who don't want to milk the system and that do want to work, but sometimes they need help also. And one thing, another thing is I also heard that they're canceling funding for Child Care Connections, and that's another thing, that child care is very expensive. And for people who want to work, it's like, if you're going to cut our child care, then we're going to lose our housing, because we're going to have to pay for our child care. So, that way we can go to work and still pay for our housing. So in the same sense, it goes hand in hand, and it's not that easy. But for people out there who do want to work, like I know a lot of people at ETS who do work and who, do scrimp and save every little money that they can, and they still don't get any.